There are things you're not supposed to hear until your soul reaches a certain point. And if these words are finding you right now, it means you've reached it. Most people move through life half asleep, repeating the same patterns, trapped in the same emotions, believing the world is happening to them. But something in you has already begun to wake up. Something quiet, something ancient, something that whispers, "There's more. You're meant for more." And that's why I can finally say this: I shouldn't be teaching you what you're about to hear, but you are ready now. Ready to understand the truths hidden behind ordinary life. Ready to see the connection between your thoughts, your emotions, and the reality that forms around you. Ready to remember that manifestation is not a technique, it's the natural language of your consciousness. This is not motivation. This is not positive thinking. This is not another just believe message. What you're about to receive is a deeper blueprint, the metaphysics behind why your life looks the way it does, why certain patterns keep repeating, why some desires flow easily to you, and why others slip away, no matter how hard you try. These teachings were once reserved for seekers who were truly prepared, and tonight, that is you. So take a slow breath. Let your body settle. Let your mind soften. And somewhere quietly inside, whisper, "I'm ready to remember." Because the moment you do, the universe begins to shift around you. You've probably noticed this pattern in your life. No matter how many times you move to a new city, change jobs, leave relationships, or start over, somehow the same challenges follow you. Different faces, different settings, different seasons, but the same emotional pattern keeps looping back. It almost feels unfair, or mysterious, or like life is trying to tell you something you've been trying not to hear. And here's the hidden truth. The one most people never learn: life is not happening to you. Life is happening from you. Your reality is not a random series of events. It's a mirror, reflecting your self-concept, your beliefs, your emotional tone, and your unconscious expectations with perfect accuracy. This mirror isn't judging you. It isn't punishing you. It isn't testing you. It's reflecting you. Not who you pretend to be. Not who you wish to be. But who you believe yourself to be at the deepest level. Evelyn's story, the mirror breaks to show the truth. Let me tell you about Evelyn. For years, she repeated affirmations every morning: I am worthy. I am abundant. I am enough. But her life didn't change. Bills still piled up. Opportunities slipped away. And relationships never seemed to stick. One morning, frustrated and tired, she pressed her palms against the mirror. A small crack split across the glass. For a moment she thought it was a bad sign, until something inside her went quiet. She suddenly understood it wasn't the mirror that was broken. It was the image of herself she kept carrying inside. Her words said abundance. But her unconscious self-concept whispered not enough. Her lips said, I deserve love. But her inner voice said, I'm not worth staying for. The mirror of life doesn't listen to words. It listens to vibration, to self-belief, to identity. And Evelyn's life was simply reflecting the truth she carried in silence. Why life repeats the same lessons. The universe isn't cruel, it's consistent. It reflects your inner state the same way a physical mirror reflects your face instantly, accurately, without emotion. If you believe you're not chosen, life will show you moments where you're overlooked. If you believe money is always running away from you, life will confirm that belief with endless scarcity. If you believe relationships never last, you'll find yourself in patterns that match that expectation. Not because you're cursed, but because your inner frequency becomes your outer experience. Here's the secret most people never realize. A pattern will repeat until the belief that created it is dissolved. Not a moment earlier. Not a moment later. Clara and the single law behind all laws. There's a story about Clara, a woman who spent years collecting crystals, charms, rituals, and spiritual tools. She tried hundreds of methods. Some worked for a little while. Most didn't. She felt like the universe was inconsistent, like sometimes it listened and sometimes it didn't. One day she met an old woman who said, "You're trying to master many laws when there is only one. Your recognition creates your experience." That sentence changed everything for Clara. Not your hopes, not your begging, not your affirmations. What you recognize as real becomes your reality. If deep inside you recognize yourself as someone who gets overlooked, you will attract situations where you feel invisible. If deep inside you recognize yourself as someone who is always chasing you, will keep attracting things that stay slightly out of reach. If deep inside you recognize yourself as someone who is chosen, life will rearrange itself to reflect that identity. Life is not reacting to your actions. It's responding to your awareness. Your self-relationship sets every other relationship. There's another story, Marjorie's. She spent her whole life shrinking herself. She didn't like mirrors. She brushed off compliments. She took care of everyone else and left nothing for herself. And the world mirrored that perfectly. Opportunities passed her by. People took her kindness for granted. She felt invisible because she had made herself invisible in her own eyes. One day, while cleaning her grandmother's mirror, she whispered, even scratched, "It still reflects." Something opened inside her. She realized she had been waiting for the world to see her before she allowed herself to see her own worth. But that's not how the mirror works. When you honor yourself, life honors you. When you value yourself, life values you. When you expand internally, your world expands around you. Life cannot outgrow your self-concept. The forbidden insight of this chapter. Here is the truth most people avoid. Your reality never lies. It always tells you the truth about your inner belief system. Not to shame you, not to break you, but to awaken you. The mirror isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to show you where your power is hiding. Bedtime practice the real mirror tonight. When everything is quiet, try this. Close your eyes. Imagine standing in front of a mirror made of light, not glass. It doesn't show your face. It shows your frequency, your self-belief, your identity. Ask it one question. What part of me is ready to be seen? Let the answer come gently. A feeling, a word, a memory, a truth. You're not fixing anything. You're remembering who you really are beneath the old reflections. And when your inner image shifts, your entire reality will shift with it. You can speak all the right words. You can write affirmations every morning. Recite them every night. Paste them on your mirror. Whisper them on your commute. Even chant them before sleep, yet nothing changes. And deep down, you've wondered, why does this work for other people but not for me? What am I missing? Here is the truth. Almost no one says out loud, the universe does not respond to your vocabulary. It responds to your vibration. Words are surface. Frequency is substance. And your frequency always wins. Henry's story, the man who spoke prosperity but breathed scarcity. Henry did everything right. He followed every teacher, every manifestation video, every morning routine. He stood in front of his window each sunrise and declared, "I am wealthy." Money flows to me. I am abundant. His voice was confident. His statements were perfect. The script was flawless. Yet nothing moved. Nothing expanded. Nothing flowed. Why? Because as he spoke those words, something inside him was whispering the opposite. When he said, "I am wealthy," his stomach tightened in fear. When he said, "I attract opportunities," his mind replayed every failure. When he said, "I am enough," his shoulders sank with years of doubt. His words were facing forward, but his frequency was facing backward. This is the contradiction that stops manifestation. Your mind says one thing, your energy says another, and the universe listens to the energy always. Why words fail without emotional alignment? Think of your frequency like music. Your emotions are the melody. Your beliefs are the bass. Your thoughts are the instruments. Your words, they're just the lyrics. Lyrics matter, but they're powerless when the melody is off-key. You can sing a love song with anger in your voice, and it won't sound like love. You can shout, "I'm fine," while your energy screams, "I'm breaking." You can say, "I trust," while emitting, "I'm terrified." The universe hears the vibration beneath your words, not the words themselves. This is why people who don't use affirmations at all sometimes manifest effortlessly. Their inner state already matches what they desire. And this is why others repeat affirmations for years with no change. Their words never touch their frequency. The ancient radio tuning the static. There's an old story about a young monk trying to tune a radio hidden in a mountain temple. Between two stations, the radio crackled. One channel was filled with static and fear. The other carried wisdom, clarity, and calm. He recited every mantra he knew, hoping the radio would tune itself. But the noise only grew louder. Then his teacher said something unusual. "The radio is not out of tune. You are." The moment the monk breathed, relaxed, and softened his energy, the clear station emerged. Nothing magical happened. His frequency finally matched the signal he wanted to receive. It wasn't the words that changed the station. It was his state of being. The same is true for manifestation. When your energy is peaceful, your desire finds you effortlessly. When your energy is anxious, even your most powerful affirmations get lost in the noise. The sacred principle most people ignore. Here, it is the core of this chapter. You don't manifest what you say. You manifest what you feel. Your emotion is the transmission. Your belief is the amplifier. Your words are simply decoration. This is why a single sentence spoken in alignment can manifest faster than 500 affirmations spoken in fear. It's not the quantity of your words. It's the quality of your frequency. How to know you're out of alignment. You'll know you're speaking empty affirmations when your body contracts while you say them. They feel like trying to convince yourself. You force your tone to sound confident. You feel anxiety. Immediately after repeating them, you speak from your throat, not your chest. You stop believing the moment you stop talking. These are signals not of failure, but of misalignment. Your energy isn't wrong. It just needs tuning. When words finally begin to work, affirmations begin working. The moment your inner state shifts from "I'm saying this," hoping it becomes true, to "I'm saying this because a part of me already feels it." You don't need to believe it 100%. You only need a crack, a softening, a moment of resonance. The universe does not require perfection. It only needs a signal, even a small one. The forbidden insight of this chapter: your frequency speaks louder than your mouth, and your deepest emotional truth always overrides your spoken intentions. If your frequency says I'm unworthy, no amount of saying I am enough will shift your reality until the emotion begins to move. This is why the most powerful manifestation work is not verbal, it's vibrational. Bedtime practice, the resonance of being tonight. Find a quiet place. Sit or lie down comfortably. Take one slow breath. Then speak your own name aloud. Not as an affirmation, not as a ritual, just your name. Notice the sound. Notice the vibration in your chest. Notice the emotion behind it. Then whisper, let my energy speak first. Feel yourself soften. Feel your breath deepen. Feel the noise inside you quiet down. For the next minute, don't say any affirmations. Just feel. When the feeling rises, even a small one, then speak your desire gently, as if it's already somewhere inside you. Not forced, not loud, not perfect, just real. Because reality doesn't respond to language, it responds to truth. And your frequency is the most honest language you will ever speak. For years, you've been taught to fear desire, to shrink it, to silence it, to call it selfish, unrealistic, or dangerous. Somewhere along the way, desire became something to distrust, as if wanting more meant you weren't grateful, spiritual, or humble enough. But here is the truth. No one told you your desires are not random, and they are definitely not wrong. Your desires are the universe speaking through you, not your ego, not your impatience, not your greed, but your potential calling itself forward. Ruthie's story, the woman who buried every dream. Ruthie lived in a small cottage at the forest's edge. She cooked for everyone, cared for her neighbors, and never asked for anything in return. Whenever a quiet dream surfaced, travel, art, adventure, wealth, she pushed it away. That's not for people like me. She'd whisper, and the desire would sink back into her chest like a stone in water. One evening, while sweeping the floor, she felt something strange, a sharp, sudden ah in her heart. Not pain, but longing, a deep, ancient craving for more life. It frightened her. Why want more when she already had enough? But what she didn't know was this: desire is not a sign of lack. It's a sign of expansion. It's life trying to grow through you. And ignoring it does not make it disappear. It only silences your soul. Désir versus attachment. The real difference. People confuse desire with attachment, but they are not the same. True desire feels like inspiration. It lifts you, expands you, opens your chest. It feels like possibility. Attachment feels like fear. Tight, heavy, contracted. If I don't get this, I'll break. That's not desire, that's desperation. You've experienced both. You know which one leaves you exhausted and which one lights you up. True desire doesn't say, I need this to feel complete. It says, this is who I'm becoming. One comes from lack, the other from growth. The seed that never apologized for its longing deep in an old forest. A tiny seed waited beneath layers of leaves. For weeks it felt warmth above, the hint of sunlight breaking through branches, the pull of life urging it upward. The seed didn't question its desire. It didn't apologize. It didn't shrink. It simply reached for the light. Nature doesn't shame desire. Only humans do. The seed's longing wasn't a flaw. It was its destiny speaking. Your desires work the same way. They are the blueprint of your becoming, the encoded instructions of who you're meant to grow into. When you feel a desire rise inside you, whether for love, abundance, confidence, expression, health, freedom. You're not being greedy. You're responding to your design. Contrast, how the universe sharpens your desires. Here's a truth most people misunderstand. Every no in your life wasn't rejection. It was refinement. Every disappointment carved your clarity. Every closed door sharpened your direction. Every contrast purified your desire. Think about it. The heartbreak made you realize you want deeper love. The job you hated showed you the work you're meant for. The scarcity you lived through taught you the value of abundance. The loneliness revealed your readiness for true connection. Without contrast, desire would stay vague. But the universe loves precision. And contrast is the sculptor. It doesn't punish you. It perfects you. Why you fear your own desire? You don't fear wanting. You fear disappointment. You fear wanting something and not getting it. You fear hope because hope makes you vulnerable. So you pretend your dreams don't matter. You downgrade them into something small. You convince yourself you should be satisfied with less. But here's the secret. Desire doesn't leave because you ignore it. It waits. It waits for the moment you're brave enough to hear it again. And when you finally listen, your life begins moving. Desire is a dialogue between you and the infinite. The ocean creates waves. The sun creates light. The universe creates desire. Your desire is not separate from the force that spins galaxies. It is the same intelligence, expressed through your consciousness. This is why your biggest desires never disappear. Because they're not fantasies, they're instructions. They're where you're meant to grow next. And the moment you honor them, life begins opening in ways you couldn't imagine. The forbidden insight of this chapter. Here it is pure and unfiltered. Your desires were placed in you on purpose. Not to tease you, not to torment you, but to guide you toward the highest version of yourself. Your dream is not a random craving. It is your next evolution calling your name. Ignoring it doesn't protect you. It only delays you. Honoring it doesn't guarantee instant manifestation, but it guarantees alignment with who you're meant to become. Bedtime practice. Listening to the whisper tonight. Before sleep, try this. Place one hand on your heart. Breathe softly. Feel your chest rise and fall. Then ask yourself gently, what do I truly want? Without fear. Don't force an answer. Don't judge what comes. Don't shrink it. Don't explain it. Just listen. A word, a feeling, a memory, a quiet image. Whatever appears is not random. It is the universe speaking through you, revealing the next chapter of your becoming. Let the desire be seen. Let it breathe. Let it exist. Because the moment you stop fighting your desire, your life finally has space to grow. There is a kind of tension you don't notice until someone points it out. A tightness in the chest. A subtle clench in the jaw. A quiet urgency that whispers, why isn't it happening yet? When will things finally change? What else do I need to do? You think you're manifesting? But really, you're trying to outrun your fear. Here is the truth most people never realize. You cannot receive what you're gripping too tightly. And you cannot allow what you don't trust. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is giving over to a wiser timing. A better path. A smoother unfolding than your mind would ever choose on its own. Louisa's story, the woman who chased her dreams. Away Louisa was disciplined, organized, determined. She wrote affirmations, journals, vision boards, timelines, rituals. Every morning, she checked her manifestation progress. Every evening, she compared her life with her expectations. But the more she tried to force things into place, The more her desires slipped through her fingers like water squeezed too tightly in a closed hand. One morning, exhausted, she whispered to herself, "I don't know what else to do." And for the first time, she stopped pushing. She breathed. She softened. She allowed. In that quiet surrender, something inside her shifted, a feeling she hadn't felt in years. Relief. Not the relief of getting what she wanted, but the relief of no longer fighting the universe. Within days, the stuck energy around her life began to move. Opportunities reappeared. Unexpected help arrived. The timing began aligning with ease. Nothing magical happened. What changed was her frequency. She stopped broadcasting, "Things are not working," and finally transmitted, "I trust the process." And the universe mirrors trust faster than anything else. Control is just fear in disguise. Every time you force, you're actually saying, "I don't believe this can happen naturally. I don't trust that I'm supported. I'm afraid it won't come unless I push." Control isn't strength. It's anxiety wearing armor. And fear, even when covered by effort, is still fear. Here's the forbidden insight. The universe cannot deliver through fear what was asked for through love. Your desires were born from expansion, joy, possibility. But the moment you grip them with fear, their flow becomes blocked. Your job is not to force the manifestation. Your job is to hold the frequency that allows the manifestation. The universe already knows the path. It's your mind that keeps interrupting it. Xavier's net, the power of releasing your grip. An old fisherman named Xavier spent years pulling empty nets from the sea. He threw them with force, tightened the rope, fought the waves, and strained against the tide. The harder he tried, the less he received. One morning, exhausted, he simply let go. He loosened his grip and allowed the net to drift with the current. Within minutes, it filled with fish. Not because the sea suddenly became generous, but because Xavier finally stopped resisting its natural flow. The same happens in your life. Your blessings are already there, waiting for you to stop pulling so hard, so they can drift into your hands. Letting go is not passive. It's participatory. It's alignment. Why timing matters more than technique. You can't rush fruit to ripen. You can't force a flower to bloom. You can't speed up sunrise by shouting at the sky. Manifestation follows the same law. There is a precise moment when your vibration finally matches your desire. That is when the universe delivers. Not earlier, not later. And impatience doesn't speed the process. It interrupts it. Impatience is not a timing problem. It's a trust problem. When you fully trust that what you want is already aligning, you feel calm, even before anything changes. That calmness is the sign that your timeline is synchronizing with the universe's. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. Letting go means releasing the deadline, releasing the panic, releasing the how, releasing the fear of delay, releasing the belief that you're alone, releasing the idea that life must unfold exactly your way. Letting go doesn't stop momentum. It creates momentum. The moment you release your grip, you become available for better paths, paths with less resistance, paths with better timing, paths you could never have planned on your own. This is the higher intelligence at work, but it cannot operate while you're still trying to micromanage destiny. The forbidden insight of this chapter. Here it is. What you want is already arranged. It's already in motion. The universe is not asking you to push, it's asking you to trust. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is alignment with a force larger than your fear. And when you align with that force, life begins to move on your behalf in ways that look like magic, but are simply natural laws unfolding. Your manifestation don't need more effort. They need more space. And you create that space by letting go. Bedtime practice, the breath of allowing before you sleep tonight. Try this. Lie down. Place one hand on your chest. Breathe slowly. Bring to mind one desire you've been forcing or overthinking. Then whisper gently, "It's already arranged." Right timing is right unfolding. Feel your body soften. Feel your breath deepen. Feel your energy open. For the next minute, do nothing. Want nothing. Fix nothing. Just allow. Let the universe do its part because it always has. And it always will. Once you step out of the way, most people misunderstand their emotions. They fear them. They resist them. They try to silence them with distractions, routines, affirmations, or forced positivity. But here is the deeper truth. Your emotions are not obstacles. They are guidance, a built-in GPS designed to lead you back to alignment. The universe doesn't guide you with fear or punishment. It guides you with feeling. Every emotion you experience: joy, anxiety, peace, frustration, gratitude, heaviness, lightness, is a precise indicator of how aligned you are with your true path. Emotions are the language of your soul. Not logic, not intellect, not positive thinking. Feeling is the compass. Joy means alignment. Anxiety means redirection. Peace means yes. Resistance means not here. You have been taught that negative emotions are signs of weakness. That heaviness means you're failing spiritually. That fear or sadness means something is wrong with you. But metaphysically, negative emotion is not a punishment, it is data. A message, a calibration signal. Just like pain in the body isn't an enemy, but a messenger saying something needs attention. Emotions work the same way. When you feel contracted, heavy, or tense, your soul is whispering. You've stepped out of alignment. Turn inward. When you feel open, warm, or steady, your soul is saying yes. This way, your emotions are constantly giving you real-time feedback on the direction of your life. The story of Vera's success without peace. Vera had everything: a high corner office, a respected position, a resume full of achievement. But each morning she woke up with a quiet dread in her chest. Nothing external explained it. Her life looked perfect. Yet peace avoided her like a shadow at noon. She ignored the discomfort for years, pushing forward with discipline, ambition, and logic. One night, exhausted, she stood by her window and asked aloud, "Why does this still feel wrong?" And the answer came not as words, but as a feeling, a deep sense of you're living someone else's path. Her anxiety had never been a flaw, it had been guidance. Her emotions were trying to show her that success built on misalignment will always feel empty. When she listened, truly listened, everything shifted. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like dawn light filling a quiet room. Your soul guides you the same way. Gratitude, but only when it's real. A lot of people use gratitude as a spiritual band-aid. They force it, recite it, perform it, trying to drown out the emotions they don't want to feel. But forced gratitude is not gratitude at all. It is suppression dressed in positive language. True gratitude is never forced. It rises naturally when alignment is present. Real gratitude feels like a soft exhale, light, warm, spacious. False gratitude feels like pressure in the chest, tight, constrained, anxious. Here is the metaphysical secret. The universe responds to the frequency of gratitude, not the performance of gratitude. If your body doesn't feel thankful, no amount of writing lists will change your vibration. Letting yourself feel what's really present, even if it's discomfort, is more aligned than pretending to be grateful. Authenticity is always a higher frequency than forced positivity, which is why you don't use gratitude to escape your emotions. You use your emotions to discover where true gratitude naturally lives. The power of the present emotion. Most people try to control life by controlling the future. They obsess over outcomes, timelines, steps, signs. But the universe doesn't speak in future tense. It speaks in now. Your power is not in the next week, or the next achievement, or the next manifestation. Your power is in the emotion you're feeling this moment. Your emotional state right now is shaping the next chapter of your reality. The future is not built from your plans. It is built from your vibration. And your vibration is built from your emotional state. Every moment you feel open, expansive, calm, connected, you are aligning with a higher timeline. Every moment you feel contracted, disheartened, or disconnected, you are being redirected toward the correct one. This is not judgment. This is navigation. Your emotions are the steering wheel of your reality. Not effort, not affirmations, not trying harder. Emotion is the engine. Awareness is the driver. Presence is the road. How to use emotion as navigation, not identity. Most people fuse with their emotions. I am sad. I am anxious. I am overwhelmed. But these emotions are not who you are. They are indicators, not identity. You are not the GPS. You are the traveler. When a negative emotion arises, don't fight it. Don't judge it. Don't fear it. Just ask, what is this feeling trying to show me? Sometimes the answer is rest. Slow down. This isn't the right path. You're ignoring a truth. You're shrinking yourself. This environment is draining you. There's a better direction. And sometimes the answer is simply, be here. Feel this fully so it can move through. Emotions don't want control. They want acknowledgement. The moment you acknowledge a feeling, it begins to transform. Awareness is alchemy. Morning practice, open or closed, each morning. Before the world pulls you outward, place your hand on your heart and ask, do I feel open or closed today? Don't overthink it. Don't analyze. Just sense. If you feel open, follow the energy. Make decisions from that openness. Trust the ease. If you feel closed, don't push. Move gently. Give yourself space. Something in you is recalibrating. One question each morning can change the entire trajectory of your day because it aligns you with your emotional truth before the world begins influencing you. Night practice 1. Genuine gratitude. Every night. Don't force a list. Don't pretend. Just find one single thing that naturally sparks warmth in your chest. A moment. A breath. A person. A taste. A small victory. A quiet blessing. Let that genuine gratitude bloom slowly. Let it fill your body with softness. One real moment of gratitude is more powerful than 100 forced affirmations. Your emotions are not random, they are revelation. Every feeling you experience is a message from the deeper intelligence within you. Joy is not luck. Anxiety is not weakness. Sadness is not regression. Excitement is not coincidence. Feeling is communication. Emotion is navigation. Your soul is speaking. You are never lost when you know how to listen. Most people misunderstand money. They see it as a number to chase, a prize to win, a resource to hoard, or evidence of worthiness. But in the deeper laws of metaphysics, money is none of these things. Money is movement, energy, circulation, a living current responding not to effort but to alignment, not to hustle but to readiness, not to wanting but to the emotional frequency you hold each time you think about receiving, spending, or allowing abundance into your life. This is why two people can work equally hard, yet receive completely different results. One seems to struggle for every dollar, constantly running uphill toward bills, responsibilities, and expectations. Another moves through life with a calm ease, attracting opportunities without forcing, receiving support without begging, witnessing doors open almost magically. The difference is not luck. The difference is the energetic language each person uses with money. Money listens. Money responds. Money mirrors your relationship with trust, with openness, with your own sense of deserving. When you tighten, money tightens. When you fear, money hides. When you breathe, money flows. Money is a river. You do not push a river. You make space for it. You remove the stones blocking its path. You soften the inner ground so that when abundance finally rains into your life, it has somewhere to land. There is an old story of a farmer named Tao who lived in a secluded valley. During a long drought, the villagers gathered every day to complain about the missing rain. They prayed, worried, argued, blamed the sky. But Tao did something unusual. Without a drop of rain in sight, he woke each morning and prepared his land. He softened the soil, cleared the brise, strengthened the irrigation channels, and opened new pathways for water to flow. Villagers laughed at him. Why work when the sky has forgotten us, they asked. Tao simply answered, when the rain comes, it will already know where to go. And when the storm finally broke, every field in the village flooded except Tao's. His land absorbed the water like a blessing. Every drop had a destination. His fields flourished because he had prepared them long before the rain arrived. This is the true nature of abundance. The universe never withholds money. It waits for readiness. It waits for alignment. It waits for emotional soil soft enough to receive. You may think your life lacks abundance, but often the deeper truth is, this abundance has nowhere to land. Your beliefs may be hardened by past disappointments. Your nervous system may still hold fear around spending. Your heart may still believe that receiving too much is unsafe. And so, when money tries to flow toward you, it meets the same resistance the villagers' fields met blocked soil. Unprepared, unable to hold what it asked for. You are not being tested. You are being tuned. When you change your emotional relationship with money, the physical relationship changes automatically. Because money is not responding to what you say about it. It is responding to what you feel about it. If you feel unworthy, abundance hesitates. If you feel guilty receiving, opportunities shrink. If you feel fear when giving, circulation collapses. But when you feel appreciation real, gentle appreciation, money begins to move. Breathe and return. There is a sacred river said to exist high in the mountains of the east. Those who approach it with gratitude find their vessels overflowing with clear, fresh water. Those who approach it rushing, grasping, or afraid find only mud. The river doesn't punish. It reflects. Money works exactly the same way. When you approach it with fear, it responds with constriction. When you approach it with gratitude, it responds with clarity. When you approach it with trust, it responds with abundance. The river does not change. Your energy does. Many people believe they have money problems, but most often what they truly have is receiving problems. They have energetic habits that block the flow, tightening when paying a bill, bracing when checking their bank account, shrinking when someone offers help, apologizing when charging for their work, feeling guilt when receiving gifts, or equating wealth with danger, loss, or responsibility. Each of these reactions sends a clear vibrational message: I am not safe with abundance. The universe listens, and it honors that belief with mathematical precision. Money is not moral. It is responsive. It does not come to those who work the hardest. It comes to those who communicate with it clearly. And communication happens through vibration, not words, through openness, not hustle, through readiness, not desperation. Money flows where there is trust, and trust is a frequency you feel in your chest, not a sentence you recite in your mind. If you think of abundance as a river, then every transaction you make, every payment, every receipt, every exchange is a ripple in the water. When you give with fear, it is like throwing a stone into the river and blocking its flow. When you give with trust, the water moves freely. When you receive with guilt, the current recoils. When you receive with gratitude, the river expands. Every interaction with money teaches the universe about your readiness to hold more. And if there is one principle that changes everything, it is this: circulation equals trust. Money must move. It must breathe. It must circulate. If you cling, it stagnates. If you fear, it freezes. But if you allow it to come and go with ease, its movement becomes a rhythm, steady, natural, abundant. There is no punishment in financial struggle. There is only communication. There is no reward in prosperity. There is only resonance. The universe does not judge your worth. It reflects your vibration. Money is not a question of deserving. It is a question of alignment, and alignment is simply the absence of fear. So tonight, or the next time you interact with money, pause for a moment. Place your hand gently over your heart. Feel your breath deepen, and whisper softly, not as an affirmation, but as a reminder to your body: circulation equals trust. Let your shoulders drop. Let your chest soften. Allow your energy to open, the way Tao opened the channels in his field long before the rain arrived. Do this with each payment, each purchase, each receipt, each exchange. Let the money passing through your hands be a signal of safety, not scarcity. Let it be a message to the universe: I am ready for flow. I am ready for movement. I am ready to receive, to give, and to circulate. For the moment you trust the river begins to trust you. Relationships are not accidents. The people who enter your life, whether for a moment or for years, are not random visitors wandering through your story. They are mirrors, catalysts, reflections of your frequency, and carriers of specific lessons your soul agreed to encounter long before you met them. In the metaphysical world, this is known as resonance. In the spiritual world, it is known as soul contracts. In the psychological world, it appears as patterns you repeat over and over until the lesson becomes undeniable. Most people think they are choosing their relationships consciously. They believe they fall in love because of personality or chemistry, befriend someone because of shared interests, or stay connected due to loyalty or history. But beneath these surface reasons lies a much deeper law. You attract what you vibrate, not what you want. The universe does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your frequency. This is why you often meet the same type of person in different bodies, why certain dynamics keep repeating, and why some connections feel instantly familiar, as if you've known that soul long before this lifetime. There once was a man named Milton who always found himself drawn to partners who were emotionally unavailable. Every new relationship felt different at first. New excitement, new hope, new beginnings. But eventually, the pattern returned. Distance, silence, withdrawal, a painful sense of chasing someone who could never fully meet him. Why do I attract the same kind of person, he asked one day. Exhausted by the repetition, the answer came not through anger or blame, but through realization. Milton himself was unavailable to parts of his own heart. He wanted intimacy, but feared vulnerability. He craved closeness, but protected himself from being seen too deeply. His partners were not the problem. They were mirrors. They reflected the frequency he lived in. His soul contracts were not punishments. They were invitations, opportunities to see himself clearly. This is the truth that most people resist. You meet the same lesson until you become the version of yourself who no longer needs it. A soul contract is not a binding agreement. It is an energetic arrangement that says, "Help me see what I cannot see alone." The difficult people in your life, the critic, the betrayer, the distant partner, the controlling family member, are not here to hurt you. They are here to reflect the wounds you haven't healed, the beliefs you haven't challenged, the boundaries you haven't built, and the truths you haven't claimed. In a quiet mountain village, an ancient mystic kept a peculiar mirror that revealed nothing until someone breathed upon it. Visitors would stare, confused, seeing no reflection at all. But the moment they leaned close enough to fog the surface with their own breath, their face appeared soft, rough, unfiltered. The mystic would say, "Clarity comes only when you're willing to get close to yourself." This is the essence of soul contracts. People come close enough to you emotionally or energetically to reveal parts of yourself you struggle to face alone. Some relationships appear gentle and supportive. These are the companions who help you expand effortlessly. Others appear challenging, triggering, even painful. These are the teachers disguised as irritation, conflict, or heartbreak. But both types serve the same purpose: evolution. You do not meet people by mistake. You meet them by frequency. Your energy calls them. Your wounds call them. Your desires call them. Your readiness calls them. And when the contract is fulfilled, when the lesson is learned, the cycle understood, the wound healed, the person often fades from your life naturally. Not because something went wrong, but because the resonance has shifted. The relationship has served its purpose. A frequency mismatch cannot sustain itself. This is why some connections that once felt magnetic suddenly lose their pull. Your vibration changed. Your soul moved on. There is a moment in every spiritual journey when you realize that relationships are not about finding people who complete you. They are about revealing the parts of yourself that are incomplete. And once you see that clearly, the resentment you once carried dissolves. You stop asking, Why are they doing this to me? And begin asking, what part of me is being shown to me? This awareness changes everything. The person who criticizes you reveals the places you still doubt yourself. The person who abandons you reveals the places you have not committed to yourself. The person who dismisses you reveals the places you silence your own voice. The person who takes too much reveals the places you have not learned to say no. The person who loves you purely reveals the places you are ready to open. Healing begins not when others change, but when you do. There is a powerful truth, often forgotten. You can release a soul contract without needing to stay in the relationship. Some people are meant to teach through love. Others are meant to teach through discomfort. And some are meant to teach through their departure. You honor the contract by learning the lesson. You free yourself by integrating the lesson. You ascend to a new timeline by embodying the lesson. The moment you understand the purpose of a relationship, you no longer carry the pain of it, only the wisdom. Tonight, if you want to transform your relational patterns, you must begin not by analyzing others, but by turning inward. You must ask, who in my life challenges me the most? What are they mirroring? What belief in me are they activating? What lesson might my soul have agreed to learn through this interaction? There is no blame in this practice, no shame, only recognition. Because relationships are not external events, they are energetic agreements, expressing themselves through human behavior. And when you understand this, you stop taking things personally. You stop forcing connections that no longer resonate. You stop judging experiences that were never meant to harm you. You stop chasing people whose chapter in your story has ended. You stop misreading endings as failures. You begin to see everything as orchestration. Before we end this chapter, take a moment. Close your eyes. Bring to mind one person who has been difficult for you, someone who triggers, challenges, or frustrates you. Feel the emotions rise. Don't push them away. And in the quiet space of your heart, whisper softly, I honor the lesson you carry for me. I release the contracts that no longer teach through love. Feel the shift. Feel the clarity. Feel the resonance adjusting. You are never a victim of your relationships. You are the frequency that created them. And now, you are the frequency that can transform them. Most of your life, you've been taught to push, to strive, to force outcomes into existence, to believe that if you don't make something happen, nothing will. But in the deeper fabric of reality, the opposite is true. You are not walking this path alone. There are unseen currents guiding you, invisible hands supporting you, and parallel versions of your life quietly unfolding beside you, waiting for you to step into them. Most people never notice this support because they're too busy trying to control everything. But life is not meant to be controlled. It is meant to be listened to, and when you slow down enough, when you breathe deeply enough, when you soften the frantic edges of your mind, you begin to notice the signs, little moments of alignment that reveal the universe has been helping you all along. There once was a woman named Hazel who moved through life, convinced she carried every burden alone, every bill, every decision, every responsibility felt like a weight pressing against her chest. One morning, running late for an important meeting, she rushed out the door, bracing for everything to go wrong, only to find every traffic light turning green as she approached. A stranger held the elevator without being asked. A cancellation created the perfect window she needed to prepare. None of it was dramatic. Yet every detail aligned with uncanny precision. She dismissed these moments as coincidence. But in truth, they were the universe whispering, you're supported, you're guided, you're not carrying this alone. You have experienced moments like these, sudden ease after struggle, the right person appearing at the right time, an intuitive nudge that saved you from the wrong path, a door closing only for a better one to open. These are not random. They are proof that unseen support surrounds you constantly. But like the wind lifting a kite, this guidance works only when you stop resisting and allow yourself to be carried. Unseen support flows strongest when the mind quiets, which is why the most powerful shifts happen not while you are awake, but while you sleep. Sleep is not merely rest. It is the sacred doorway where your conscious mind steps aside and your deeper intelligence, the universe within you, steps forward. What you cannot solve with willpower, sleep can reorganize with elegance. What feels stuck during the day can unravel in the softness of night. There is an ancient teaching that says, when you sleep, the veil thins. This means that during sleep, you move closer to the field where all possibilities exist. Your limiting beliefs loosen. Your resistance dissolves. Your subconscious becomes open, malleable, receptive. You return to the place you came from, the womb of creation, where you can reshape your reality without the interference of fear or doubt. Imagine a garden that refuses to bloom under harsh sunlight. The soil is dry, the leaves are tight, and the buds stay closed. But as moonlight touches the petals with its gentle, cold glow, something miraculous happens. The flowers begin to open, not because of force, but because of surrender. This is your mind in sleep. The desires you strain to create in waking life soften, expand, and reorganize in the quiet alchemy of dreams. This is why some mornings you wake with clarity you didn't have the night before. Why a solution suddenly appears after you give up thinking about it. Why heaviness lifts after a night of deep rest. Sleep is your nightly reunion with the intelligence that shapes worlds. In the silence of dreams, your soul speaks more loudly than your mind ever could. But there is an even deeper truth while you sleep. You don't just rest, you shift realities. Modern metaphysics teaches that every decision you make creates branching possibilities. Infinite parallel versions of your life exist, each carrying different outcomes. Some versions of you are struggling, some are thriving, some are aligned with your highest timeline, the one where things feel synchronized, where life flows with ease, where you become the person your heart knows you can be. And while you sleep, you drift closer to the version of reality that matches your emotional frequency. If you go to sleep in fear, you drift into a heavier timeline. If you go to sleep in openness, you drift into a lighter one. If you go to sleep surrendering your worries, possibilities rearrange themselves in your favor. If you go to sleep with gratitude, your path brightens in ways you cannot yet see. Grover, an artist in an ancient city, once sensed reality flickering before him, apples shifting color, details changing subtly from one moment to the next. He thought he was losing his mind. But in truth, he was witnessing the truth of creation. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid. It vibrates alongside your consciousness. And the doorway through which you shift these realities most easily is sleep. This is why the moments before sleep are sacred. Your final thoughts of the night become the blueprint for the reality you will wake into. If your last thoughts are fear, your mind organizes the next day toward more fear. If your last thoughts are gratitude, your subconscious weaves your future into harmony. If your last thoughts are surrender, the universe steps in to do what you cannot once. If your last thoughts are trust, you awaken in a reality shaped by support rather than struggle. Tonight, as you lie down to sleep, Remember that you are entering the workshop of creation. You are stepping into a realm where the unseen becomes possible, where the universe can move in ways your overthinking mind would never allow. You are not trying to make your dreams come true. You are aligning yourself with the version of reality where they already exist. Before sleep takes you, place your hand over your heart and whisper gently as I rest. Unseen forces move in my favor. Let those words become the final vibration your mind carries into the night. Let them guide you across the threshold into a timeline where life feels lighter, where guidance is clearer, where support is unmistakable. Because you are not alone. You've never been alone. And when you learn to trust the unseen begins to reveal itself in every step you take. Most people live trapped inside their mind, believing every thought that moves through their head is somehow a reflection of who they are. They mistake mental noise for identity, fear for intuition, and intrusive thoughts for truth. But the deeper reality, the one that liberates you the moment you understand it, is this: you are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. You are not the storm. You are the sky the storm passes through. There is a quiet space within you, a stillness untouched by fear, doubt, comparison, or past wounds. A place your thoughts cannot reach. A place your worries cannot control. This is the seat of the observer, and learning to sit there is the beginning of freedom. For most of your life, you were trained to think your way out of problems, overanalyze, predict, control, anticipate every outcome, fight every fear by arguing with it. But this only makes the mind louder. Thoughts grow stronger when you feed them, even when you argue against them. That is the paradox of effort. The harder you fight your thoughts, the more power you give them. Effort strengthens the storm. Imagine standing in front of a waterfall. If you try to push the falling water back up, you exhaust yourself instantly. But if you take one step back, just one, you find that nothing touches you. The waterfall continues, powerful and wild. But you are no longer under it. You have stepped into the observer. There was once a young monk named Sora who struggled with endless mental chatter. He begged his teacher for techniques to silence his mind. The teacher smiled and led him to a quiet lake. "Tell me what you see," the teacher asked. Sora replied, "The water is disturbed. The ripples won't stop." The teacher placed a hand on his shoulder and said gently, "Then stop trying to calm the water. Step back and notice that the ripples have never touched the moon reflected on its surface." Sora suddenly understood. The mind can ripple, the thoughts can swirl, but the awareness behind them, the witness, is untouched. Clear, silent, always present. You, too, are the moon on the lake. Thoughts will come. Doubts will rise. Fears will whisper. The mind will create storms, illusions, scenarios, judgments, memories, and predictions. But none of it is you. If you chase each thought, you become lost in the maze. If you argue with each thought, you stay trapped inside the storm. But if you watch the thought, simply watch it, something miraculous happens. The thought dissolves on its own. Awareness is alchemy. When you watch a thought without engaging it, you remove the fuel that keeps it alive. Over time, the mind grows quieter, not because you force it to, but because you stop feeding it. Meditation is not about having no thoughts. It is about remembering who you are when thoughts arise. There is a moment in spiritual awakening when you no longer identify with the voice in your head. You hear it as a sound, not a truth. You notice it the way you notice a passing car on the street. There it goes, and then it's gone. You stop gripping your thoughts with fear. You stop believing every narrative. You stop drowning in mental storms that were never meant to define you. From this place of witnessing, clarity begins to emerge effortlessly. Decisions feel lighter. Emotions flow more freely. Reactions soften. Suffering decreases. Not because life becomes easier, but because you are no longer fighting life with your mind. You are meeting life from presence instead of panic. The observer in you is always calm, always steady, always here. It watches without judgment, without fear, without attachment. When you live from this place, even your negative thoughts lose their power. You begin to understand that a thought is just a thought, a temporary echo of memory, conditioning, or biology, not a prophecy, not a verdict, not a reflection of who you are. There was a traveler who carried a lantern through a dark forest at night. Every time a shadow appeared, he panicked, believing it was a threat. But one night he noticed something curious. The shadows moved exactly as he did. Every fear he saw was created by his own light. The creatures he ran from were shapes cast by his own presence. The moment he realized this, the fear vanished. He saw that the danger had never been real, only misunderstood. Your thoughts are the same. They are shadows created by the mind. Some appear frightening. Some appear overwhelming. Some appear convincing, but they have no power beyond the meaning you give them. When you step into the observer, you see these shadows for what they are: temporary, harmless, passing. You do not need to fix your thoughts. You do not need to control your mind. You only need to witness it. Let the thoughts rise. Let them pass. Let them dissolve on their own. When awareness becomes your default, life begins to transform from the inside out. You stop reacting impulsively. You stop drowning in spirals. You stop letting small trigger dictate your entire day. Instead, you notice the space between stimulus and response, the sacred stillness where you get to choose who you will be. That space is the observer, and the more you rest there, the more peace becomes your natural state. Tonight, before sleep, give yourself a simple practice. Sit or lie down in stillness. Close your eyes. Let your breath flow naturally. Then watch your thoughts as if watching clouds drift across the sky. When a thought appears, don't follow it. Don't analyze it. Simply say softly in your mind, "Not me," and return to your breath. Another thought will come. Repeat, "Not me." You will feel a subtle shift, a spaciousness opening, a calm returning, a sense of being the sky instead of the storm. 1 minute is enough. 1 breath is enough. 1 moment of awareness is enough to remind you who you are. You are not the thinker. You are the observer. You are the silence behind the noise. You are the stillness behind the movement. You are the sky behind the storm. And the moment you remember that, you step out of the mental storm not by force, but by awakening. There comes a moment on every spiritual path when the seeker stops, not because they've reached the end, but because they finally realize there was never a distance to travel in the first place. Everything they were searching for: clarity, abundance, peace, alignment, purpose was never outside of them. It was never in the future, never in a technique, never in a manifestation method, never in a timeline. It was always within, quiet, patient, waiting. Most of your life, You've been taught that becoming better requires adding more effort, more tools, more knowledge, more control. But the final secret reveals the opposite. You don't become more. You remember more. Enlightenment is not self-improvement. It is self-recognition. It is remembering the part of you that has always been whole. There is an ancient story about a traveler who wandered the world searching for a treasure said to grant unimaginable power. He crossed oceans, climbed mountains, begged sages for guidance, endured storms and deserts, all chasing the promise of something greater. Years later, exhausted and older, he returned home to find the treasure buried beneath his own house. It had always been there. He simply never thought to look inward. This is your story. 2. You've spent years trying to manifest the perfect life, the perfect outcome, the perfect feeling. You've collected techniques, rituals, affirmations, visualizations. You've chased alignment as if it was something you needed to earn. But the truth is simpler, gentler, and infinitely more profound. You are already aligned when you stop trying to be. Effort is the final illusion you must release. The idea that you must do your way into becoming, the habit of believing you must earn what is already yours, the belief that you must fix yourself to deserve a better reality. In the metaphysical world, creation does not come from striving, it comes from being. Not from pushing reality into place, but from inhabiting the version of you who already exists in the timeline you desire. You are not creating the future. You are selecting it. Each possibility, you dream of each version of yourself. Each potential reality, each outcome that lights up your chest is already alive somewhere in the field of infinite timelines. You don't manifest by forcing that reality to appear. You manifest by stepping into the identity that matches it. And the identity you step into is not new. It is remembered. You felt glimpses of this before, moments of deep peace when you suddenly understood that nothing was wrong with you. Moments of unexpected clarity when everything made sense without effort. Moments of profound stillness where the world felt soft, slow, perfectly timed. These weren't coincidences. They were moments when your mind stepped aside long enough for your true self to shine through. The final secret is this: you are not a person trying to wake up. You are consciousness pretending to be asleep. The awakening is not something that happens to you. It's something you allow. It happens the moment you stop running from the truth that you are already whole. You are both the dreamer and the dream, both the creator and the creation, both the seeker and the sought. There is a sacred geometry to faith, an invisible pattern that shapes your reality without you needing to manage it. When you trust, life rearranges itself around that trust. When you relax, timelines soften. When you surrender, the path clears. When you remember who you are, the universe recognizes you instantly, the way a mirror reflects you the moment you stand before it. In the deepest sense, manifestation is not commanding the universe. It is cooperating with yourself. There was once a sculptor who received a massive block of marble as a gift. His apprentices asked, "Master, what will you carve from it?" The sculptor smiled and replied, "The figure is already inside the stone. I'm only removing what hides it." This is what the universe does with you. Every challenge removes a layer. Every lesson chips away an illusion. Every ending carves away what is not you, until only truth remains. Your evolution is not addition, it is subtraction. Not becoming more, but becoming less of what isn't yours. Less fear, less doubt, less self-judgment, less trying, less pretending. What's left is your essence, the pure awareness that existed long before your name, your story, your fears, your expectations. The version of you that knows you are both human and divine, both limited and infinite, both a single life and an expression of something far greater. Tonight, if you want to understand the final secret fully, you don't need to think. You don't need to analyze. You don't need to force an epiphany. You only need to sit quietly. Close your eyes and feel the awareness behind your thoughts. The one observing your breath. The one watching your emotions rise and fall. The one witnessing the world without being shaken by it. That awareness calm, is spacious. Eternal is who you truly are. You've been searching for yourself in outcomes, achievements, manifestations, situations, relationships. But everything you seek is already present in the silent space behind your mind. You've always been the treasure. You've always been the source. You've always been the power. As this chapter closes, place your hand gently over your heart and breathe deeply. Then whisper softly, "I remember who I am." Not as a wish, not as an affirmation, but as a truth resurfacing. You are the dreamer. You are the creator. You are the consciousness behind every possibility. You are what you've been seeking, and now you've finally come home to yourself. As you reach the end of this journey, take a slow breath and notice what has shifted inside you. Not dramatically, not loudly, but quietly, like dawn light slipping gently across the horizon. Something in you understands now. Something in you remembers. Every chapter you've listened to wasn't teaching you something new. It was returning you to what your soul has always known. You are not chasing alignment. You are relaxing back into it. You are not begging the universe. You are learning to hear it. You are not becoming someone else. You are peeling back everything that was never you. And as you lie here, letting these final words settle into your chest, know this: the version of you you've been searching for is already alive inside you. Not someday, not eventually. Now, if tonight's journey opened something in you, clarity, softness, remembrance, then I invite you to continue this work with me. On this channel, every audiobook, every lesson, every night story is crafted with one purpose: to help you awaken quietly, gently, from the inside out. So if this resonated, subscribe, like the video, and share it with someone whose soul might need this reminder too. And when you're ready for the next step, explore the other audiobooks waiting here. They're not just content, they're invitations. Each one a doorway into a deeper version of yourself. For now, rest, trust. Let the universe finish the work you started by pressing play. You are guided. You are held. You are becoming exactly who you were always meant to be.